Own perspective, that's as close to the unconscious as a clown can get, I think. The Europeans call me like nouveau clown. The Germans, variety stage, they call me Stimmacrobat, voice acrobat. So yeah, clown, fool, those are the traditions. The ancient Greek mimes, Greek and Roman mimes, which fly axe comedies, these are like very obscure, old school improv and theme of the day kind of theater. And that's what I'm used to doing.
CNN, NBC, war in the middle. The new SUV. It drives like a tank. You can drive over pristine, beautiful grasslands. It uses 0.0.0.0 miles per gallon of gas. And it's all yours for just zero financing with 0% financing, 0%, 0%.
I'd like to believe that little drops in a giant ocean can affect something else, because the mass media seems like a giant ocean, and either you're either noticed on the ocean or you're drowning underneath it. For some people, but then there's alternatives, and it requires a kind of spirit or a determination or just a drive to want to be in the alternative. I think media is going to change for the good in the future, but it's as long as there are more and more and more and more access points for people to get in, and the ability to get the media or the art is easy. I used to hear Timothy Leary constantly say, the more control that you exude, the more chaos ensues.
BBC correspondent Greg Palast, author of The Best Democracy Money Can Buy, reflects on our absurd military policies.
I want you to read the paper of record, the New York Times. And I'm looking through it, and then he addresses, Tuesday night, the Iraqi people, while the parents of our soldiers are listening in. So I thought he was going to say, you know, our kids are coming over to liberate you from an evil dictator. And so don't shoot at them. We're here to liberate you. Instead, he said, and I quote, "Do not destroy oil wells." It was strange words, I thought, from like a war hero like George W. Bush. I don't know why you're laughing. He was, during the war in Vietnam, he was a war hero. He was in the Texas Air Guard, which is kind of a weekend warrior army for war heroes who hate the sight of blood, especially their own. And actually, he was a fighter pilot. He was the kind of top gun in the Texas Air Guard, his reputation actually was so fierce that the Viet Cong didn't dream of attacking San Antonio. So I investigated the matter. It's really true that he took a test to get the Tom Cruise job, you know, and out of a possible score of 100, he got 25. I looked it up. Which made me suspect that maybe there was some affirmative action in play. But I want to talk about who's winning the war. You want to know who's going to win the war? Well, it's who won the first Gulf War, Part 1. Well, let me give you a hint. After Poppy Bush left the White House, he contacted the Kuwaiti royalty. Now, he wrote them a letter. Now, he didn't write them a letter saying, hey, you promised us democracy, but he did write them a letter saying, would you please give a oil drilling concession to Chevron Oil? Very interesting. Now, I have to say, and I want to make this very clear, Poppy Bush did not receive any money from Chevron for this extraordinary lobbying using, the Oval Office stationery. Now, it so happened that Chevron also put over $500,000 into his son's presidential run through the Republican Party. So we know that part one, Chevron won the war, and the Republican Party war chest won the war, and Poppy Bush won the war, and we're still waiting for those election returns. There's other winners. One of the biggest donors, and part of the idea of best democracy money can buy is looking at the money trail. Last election, the Republicans spent nearly $500 million electing W. Well, actually, they didn't elect W president, but they got him the White House. So it was kind of an auction, not a election. And so I want to know who the winning bidders were, and it included top of the list, Enron, the usual suspects, and Lockheed Corporation, also a winner in the current war. They have the Virginia-class submarine. Now, the Virginia-class submarine was designed to attack Soviet subs, which is a bit of a problem because there's no Soviet subs anymore. But then we entered the war in Afghanistan, and their budget for this item increased, which I went to Lockheed and did point out that Afghanistan is landlocked. They said, well, wait, we're now entering Iraq. And if you look, there's a little tiny beach at the bottom of Iraq, really. If you look at it, you'll see this little... And what they said is, in the new war, we have to face the terrorist threat. This is a war on terror machine. And what we do is we can use it to land commandos on the beach. And then I just asked, I said, because it's one of these subs is bigger than this hall, right? I said, and the Israelis have a smaller budget, use canoes. And I said, so how do you sneak this thing up to the beach? Really, how do you sneak up to the beach? I said, don't be silly. That's ridiculous. What we've done is we reconfigured the torpedoes to stick 9 Marines in them and shoot it. Our president thought this was so neat. At $1.5 billion, $1.5 billion a boat, he ordered, in the current budget, he ordered 36. Yeah.
Nice.
The views expressed by those interviewed for Visual Voices and those featured on Visual Voices do not necessarily express the views of FEM, MNN, or anyone associated with this production. The views of the puppets, however, are their own and do not reflect the views of any other puppets, mannequins, and/or animatronic creatures. I am Friedrich Nietzsche, and I say thank you.